Well, good morning. It's Ken Ham here, and I'm president of Anson Genesis, the Creation Museum, and the Ark Encounter. And I had to come over to our Ark Design Studios this morning for a meeting, and I thought, well, why not do a live broadcast from here? Have one of our staff members with us, director of exhibits, actually, Harrison Craig. I'll talk to Harrison here in a moment, and we're going to show you 4 unique dioramas that are going to be installed in the Ark very soon. I'm going to get Harrison to explain them. And we want you to tell us which one you like the best. Actually, my favorite is the first one, the second one, the third one, and the fourth one we're going to show you. And then I'm going to show you one of the animals that's getting near completion that I really think is fascinating. I mean, a lot of animals have already been completed for the cages down at the Ark, but this one is really fascinating. And we'll go in there and look at that. Now, Nisodon, I think it's called.
Yeah,
right. I don't think anyone has ever done this before, as far as I know,
anywhere I'm aware of, no.
Anywhere in the world. So we'll have a look at that at the end. But we're going to look at 4 dioramas here. First of all, Harrison, you're the director of exhibits.
That's right.
And the exhibits are going to be opened, ready for people to look at July 7, correct?
That's correct. Yeah, we're very excited. We've got a lot to show the people, and we can't wait for them to come.
And exhibits are being installed. I was down at the Ark last night. I actually did a live broadcast, and I see a lot of work that's going on there, and it's sort of going to change overnight, isn't it, really?
It is, yeah. There's a lot going in already. There's a lot yet to go in, and it's starting to close up and finish really nicely.
Now, before we have a look at these 4 dioramas, can you tell me where you studied and who you've worked for?
Sure. Yeah, I've studied industrial design at Ohio State University, and then I went to pursue my childhood dream in California by I wanted to build special effects, and so the Lord allowed me to do that. I worked at Paramount, at Sony, at Disney Imagineering for a short time, and it was a lot of fun.
So you've actually worked in Hollywood?
I have, yes.
Okay, so before we look at these 4 dioramas that are being completed here, and you've been in charge of all the exhibits that are going into the Ark, and before we do all that,
let's step back in here.
So let's step back in here. Yeah, somehow the lights went off. I'm not sure what happened there, but we lost our lights. But so let's go back in here. Comparing these exhibits to Hollywood, how would they compare?
I think the artistry that you'll find here at least matches, if not exceeds, the artistry in Hollywood. The people that we've got here, they're incredible artists. They're multifaceted. They can do so many different things. It's just an incredible group to work with.
Well, let's start here with this one. So what is this diorama going to be here? And we'll move right to the end to enable us to have a video look at this.
So this is our half Ark model. And so when Noah built his Ark, he built it as a boat to float and to house all the animals. And so what we're doing is we're showing in this half Ark model how Noah could have cared for the animals and how he would have kept his food stuff and been able to manage all the systems that are involved in the Ark.
So I understand at the Ark, the first deck we're sort of setting up as if Noah was putting the cages in and the storage in and so on, but because we're building it for a different purpose, we're not building it to take 2 of every kind of land animal, but to teach how it could have.
That's right.
We're not building it so that it would float. It was designed as a ship, though, wasn't it?
Yes, it was designed with nautical engineers as a ship, and then they took that design and turned it into architecture, which was a building.
So, but we're also having teaching exhibits and themed exhibits, which Noah wouldn't have had.
That's right, and bathrooms and fire escapes and things like that.
Which we pretty well kept into those 3 buildings that it anchors to try to keep the ship as a ship.
Yes.
But nonetheless, this will help people understand what Noah would have done on all 3 decks.
Right. It gives them an overview of Noah's Ark that we couldn't show in our structure.
Okay, so let's go on to diorama number 2. Let's have a look at that. We'll go over here, and this one here looks like some sort of temple.
That's right. One of the exhibits that we're doing is a pre-flood society, and in the pre-flood society we're showing how God really had to destroy the world because it was getting so pagan. It was getting so turned away from God. They were turning their backs on God, and this is just one example of what they were doing.
And so there we have a diorama that'll go in the pre-flood society exhibit space.
That's correct.
Down there at the Ark. There'll be other things in there as well.
That's correct. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
Okay, that's diorama number 2. So let's come over here. Maybe we can move that ladder out of the way because they're still working on these to get them finished up. So what do we have here?
This is a diorama in our animal care and feeding exhibit, and so what this is going to show is how Noah would have cared for the animals by delivering water to them, delivering food to them. It's kind of the systems, the internal guts of the Ark, and how the systems would have worked to care for the animals.
Well, that's interesting because last night I was doing a live broadcast from the Ark. Someone asked the questions, are you going to show how Noah could have fed the animals and had water and light and so on in the Ark? And
This is it.
This is it?
Yep, this is it. We'll have some other teaching points and some animations, actually.
So there's signage to go with this.
Yep, there will be.
And video,
Yep.
animation, and it'll help people understand how that could have happened.
That's correct.
And how Noah could have put those systems on the ship.
Yes.
And realistically, those things can be designed.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Using the technology that was available to him, these things could have very well been done and worked for him and his family to care for all the animals.
I noticed these particular pots here, we have actually life-size ones of them down at the Ark too.
Right, those are amphora, and those are some containers that were used in shipping vessels many ages ago to carry grain foods or other types of cargo.
And so you're saying Noah could have invented things like that, or
Yeah,
they could have had those things in his day.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay, so that's diorama number 3, so let's come around here then, and let's have a look at this one here. And so what do we have here?
This exhibit is a feast exhibit, also from the Pre-Flood Society, and what we're showing is some of the pagan festivals that they could have had. We're showing some of how the people could have been turning their backs from God to just fulfill their fleshly desires. And so this is one example of a feast that would have been could have been part of the Pre-Flood Society, which would have caused Noah to have destroyed the world, or God to have destroyed the world.
God destroyed the
Yeah,
world.
exactly, right, not Noah.
So here we have these sculptures here. There's a number of those of people that are being set up in there, and they'll
Right.
be painted, and the sculptures are done. They're just trying to finish this off, right?
Right, the sculptures, the people in particular, and some of the sculptures that you'll see in here were done on our 3D printer. So we sculpted them digitally, and then we printed them on a 3D printer, and now they've got their coat of primer on them, and they'll get paint very soon, I think this week.
Well, Harrison, there's a lot of work going on here, a lot of talented people that we can see. And, of course, once these sculptures here are actually painted and put in place, it's going to look remarkable. But these go down to the Ark and they get actually installed in the Ark in certain exhibits.
That's right.
And how many dioramas like this are there? I mean, we've got 4 here. There's also some other dioramas too.
Right, there's 2 more. There's one in the Ice Age exhibit that shows the fast progression of ice, that it doesn't take millions of years to build up layers of ice. It takes a very short amount of time. And then we've got one in the Babel exhibit showing the people of Babel who were turning their backs on God and trying to build a temple to reach up into heaven.
So throughout the Ark, there's different sorts of teaching exhibits, different sorts of themed exhibits. And,
That's right, yes.
And then set up as Noah would have set it up. And okay, the $1 million question. People keep asking me, and I keep pondering this. You know, as you see all the exhibits, and you're the director of exhibits here, and as you see them all being installed in the Ark, you know what's being built, you know what's on the way. Mm-hmm. How long do you think people are going to spend in the Ark looking at this? I mean, how long do you really think they could spend at the Ark? Because I know I've been saying I think people want to spend a couple of days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. If they breeze through and walk through and don't take on any content, just look at things quickly, it would probably take them a few hours. If they actually want to look at things and read the signs and investigate and just kind of enjoy their time, yeah, it's going to take probably a couple of days to get all the way through.
So 2 days at the Ark, 2 days at the museum.
Sounds like a good
there's
plan.
4 days right there.
Yeah, sounds like a good vacation.
That's why we're offering a $99 7-day unlimited ticket. and that is they can visit the Ark and the museum as many times as they want, the Ark and the Creation Museum. They're 45 minutes apart. Parking would be included in that, because we had to spend, I think it was something like $12 million on the parking lot down there at the Ark.
Right.
It's 4,000 car spaces, had to build a shuttle road and a bridge, and we had to remove 1 million cubic yards of dirt. People don't realise how much it costs to do these sorts of things, and then to maintain that.
That's right.
And we're going to have to put a blacktop surface on it sometime after it all settles down. It's blacktop now, but has the base coat on it. It's all been striped. But all that takes an incredible amount of money. But anyway, the $99 7 consecutive day unlimited ticket is going to be a phenomenal deal for people. Go back and forward from Creation Museum and Ark, and that enables them to be in the area to see other attractions too. But again, can you just give us a quick summary, some of the talent that we have here? Where did some of these people work, and some of the qualifications they have, and some of the artists that we've had do work for us? I think one of them was involved in, was it Lord of the Rings?
We've got artists from all kinds of movie backgrounds and people that do illustrations for publishing, artists that have just grown up, a lot of homeschoolers that have just practiced their art at home, and we have one guy that was hired right out of high school because he was so good and so advanced in his career.
So people with all sorts of backgrounds, worked in Hollywood, worked with movies, even famous movies, right? Illustrators that have all been a part of this. And then people that work here, I know one of our designers here, Kristen, she actually trained in the school over there.
Cal Arts in California.
That was set up by Disney, wasn't it?
It is, yeah. That's right.
So that's the sort of quality we have here. And as you said, this is equal to or even better than the quality at Hollywood. Okay, before we end this broadcast, I want to see the Anisidon.
All right, let's go see it.
Because this is a very unique creature. That's one of the things that is happening here, is that some of the animals that have been sculpted for the cages are based on fossil remains, and I don't believe anyone in the world has ever actually constructed models of these, and that's what we've done here. So people will see some animals for the very first time that we've never seen done like this. Okay, so it says, please no touching, work in progress. Okay, I won't touch it. We'll come up close to here. So Harrison, this is an incredible creature.
It is. It's one of my favorites in the Ark. And to imagine, this is an adolescent. This isn't even a full-size Anisidon. But this is one of the creatures that they have fossil evidence for, and this is how we're portraying it in the Ark as an adolescent. And it is just a beautiful creature, like nothing we've got today.
And so people will be able to come face to face with some of these creatures that they've never seen before. But God created the kind originally, obviously.
That's right.
And they became extinct sometime after the flood. But
Correct.
We've been able to find fossils, and on the basis of that, they build up what they believe it might have looked like.
That's right. Yeah.
And then we have it here, and this is going to be unique for them. How many animals do you think there are like this that people probably have never seen before?
Well, there's at least half a dozen. We've got all kinds of animals. Most of the animals people haven't seen because the kinds that Noah would have brought on did not look like the kinds we have today. So even the cow kind is not going to look like the cows we have today. They were ancestors of those parent kinds.
And there's been a lot of work done in regard to that. Look at the genetics and
That's right, yes.
what might have been the original kind for the different types. And then, of course, we have a series of exhibits explaining to people that Noah didn't take species on board.
That's right.
That's a modern term, but he took kinds, and in most instances the word kind, we would say, relates to the word family that we would use today,
Right.
like the dog family and
right.
the cat family and so on. Okay, so we'll end this broadcast here. In this area where there's a lot of talent in this room when they're sitting down here and sculpting. By the way, are they over there? Are they the rest of the sculptures for that diorama we looked at?
That's right. The feast diorama, yes. These are different characters from the feast diorama.
So all those will be going in that particular
That's right.
diorama out there.
Yep.
We just saw a couple of them out there. So they paint all these and get them ready. How were they made again? So they were sculpted on the computer?
Yeah, digitally sculpted and then 3D printed, and then you have to clean up the 3D print and give it a coat of primer, and then you can paint them.
So one of our sculptors here actually sculpted them on the computer.
Yes, we have 3 digital sculptors in-house that have worked on these.
Hey, before we do end here, I just saw another one over here. I want to come over here and have a look. This one doesn't look too human to me.
This is our ape kind.
The ape kind.
Yes, so this will be in our animal kinds exhibit.
Well, I tell you what, we'll bring a video around the front here,
Sure.
and have a look at this, so that people can see that the ape kind, very different to humans. Actually, I was talking to Dr. Menton yesterday and did a live broadcast with him, and he was explaining how for the ape kind, when you look at the skull, you can't put glasses on on them. They don't have the bone in their nose for glasses, and they've got this slope that we see here. They don't have the slope of the human face, and it's so easy to tell the difference between an ape and a human. It's just because people believe in evolution, they try to make ape creatures into human-like, and they try to make humans into ape-like, and that's the way it is, because evolution is just fiction. But anyway, we'll finish off here in our design studios. Thank you to Harrison Craig, our Director of Exhibits, and you better get on with getting those exhibits installed down the Ark. We're opening soon.
That's right, we are. And we're excited too.
July 7th, first day, open to the public.
Absolutely, yep.
Okay, we're signing off here from the design studios.